Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast. Hawks win 4-3 over the Seattle Kraken at the United Center. I'm Jay Zawaski with Mario Tirabassi. Greg Boysen will join us shortly from the UC. A little change of pace today. We're going to start today's show discussing the Cory Perry situation and what went down today. And then we're going to get to the game when Greg joins us a little bit later on. I think we sort of have a duty to do that. It's really the first time we've had the chance to really get into it here. Before we do that, smash that like button on YouTube for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Same deal if you're listening on our podcast. We appreciate you too. Make sure you're following, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Before we get to Cory Perry, we're going to get you voting for the 4-star of the game. 3 stars of the game, number 3, Petr Mrazek with 33 saves, outstanding. Number 2 star, Mackenzie Entwistle, a goal, +2. And your number 1 star, Joey Anderson with a pair of assists. So nominees for 4-star, here they are. Boris Katchouk with a goal, +1. 11:51 of ice time and 1 shot. That's 100% shooting percentage, my friend.
That'll get it done.
Jason Dickinson, a goal, +2, 2 shots and 6 shot attempts. And Seth Jones, an assist, 23:43 of ice time, 5 shots on goal, 8 shot attempts, 6 block shots, and a takeaway. Another night at the office for number 4. So get those votes in there, and we'll reveal the winner towards the end of the show. We'll visit Connor's Corner and do all the things we always do. But, Mario, let's start with Kyle Davidson. We went there. The 3 of us were there when Kyle Davidson met the media today. And, boy, he was very upset.
Yeah.
He was teetering on that line between rage and tears where it felt like he wanted to say more but couldn't.
Yeah.
And was clearly, clenched jaw, very serious looking, very stern. And then a couple points during the comments got choked up.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he was very affected by what's gone on over the last 6 days.
Yeah, I mean it's you see all the stuff that has spiraled out of control online, and he made it a point in his opening statement regarding everything that's been going on to dismiss that tomfoolery that was being spread everywhere. And to do that emphatically, I think was important to come from him. And I think as if you saw the press conference today, listen to what Kyle Davidson had to say later in the conference. He is asked about, I think Phil Thompson had the question about, what's kind of how it's been handled over the last couple of days, 48, 24 hours, however it was. And, I think Davidson, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something along the lines of like he feels like he's wearing a lot of what has gone on outside of the organization,
right?
Because of how things have transpired. And as we've talked about it, as things have happened, and as we have had discussions on social media and whatnot throughout the week, we're talking about the organization looking for more transparency, being able to give more information to help protect players in the organization or whatever in different ways. But knowing what we know now, what has been divulged publicly, still is not a lot of information, but knowing what we know now, knowing the process that the Blackhawks took, in 6 days to go from incident reported internal investigation. You figure out what happened, and you come to a conclusion with, the player involved. To happen all in 6 days is actually pretty impressive. And I think, Davidson is taking a lot of pride and responsibility in trying to change the culture around the Blackhawks organization, and with the reputation that the team has, from outside perspective. So to hear him today, you could tell that this was a very trying week for him personally, and I think for the organization as well. And like you said, like, it really felt like he wished he could say more to maybe dispel any other nonsense happening, but seems like for the right reasons he's not, because it seems like there is a unnamed party involved in this that probably would like to remain.
So there's a little bit of information here that was in Ryan Clark's story for ESPN. I want to read this because it sort of jives with things I've been hearing over the last few days. Just so everybody knows, if I'm not 100% certain with information I'm getting, I'm not going to go with it. I'm not going to roll it out. I'm not going to tweet it unless I have double, triple confirmation firsthand that this is something that's happened. You're not going to hear it from me.
And most trustworthy people would do the same.
Okay, so here's what Ryan Clark in his story for ESPN is sourcing Emily Kaplan here. Quote, a source told ESPN's Emily Kaplan that Perry did indeed travel with the team to Columbus last Tuesday, a day before the game, and an incident occurred that day involving a team employee. Davidson said Perry, who did not play in the team's 7-3 loss, was, quote, immediately pulled from the game. It should say the lineup. The game was not going on once the Blackhawks were notified. And at that point, the club began an investigation. So there's confirmation from Emily Kaplan that there was an incident with Perry and a team employee. I heard that from two different sources over the last 2 days. Was not comfortable going with it. Emily Kaplan is as plugged into the NHL, into the Blackhawks as anyone in the league. Mm-hmm. So if she says it, it's as good as gold for me. And this should give, hopefully, the people that are thirsty for every sort of detail a little bit of pause now, knowing that there's someone in this organization that has been impacted by what Cory Perry did. You don't need to know exactly what he did, because here's what happens. It gets out what happened or where it happened, right? Mm. The specific, maybe they were in an establishment, maybe it was in a locker room, whatever. Okay, then employees of the Blackhawks or friends of employees of the Blackhawks go, okay, well, if it was here, these were the people that were here, right. And I know that maybe this person did it, and then that person gets exposed against their will. So the fact that they're sharing as much detail and he's being as vague as he's being, it makes sense now in hindsight, right? Yeah. When you look at the way Kyle Davidson handled this, and look, I was a little bit critical because I said they should give more detail because what's going to happen is rumors are going to run rampant. Mm-hmm. And guess what happened? Rumors ran rampant. Yeah. And I think that, like you said, Davidson saying, I'm wearing that a little bit, it's true. He feels responsible. But Kyle, if you're watching this, I don't think you should put that on yourself. Knowing what the situation is, what is it that you can do? What more could you have done? If you go and explain XYZ specifically happened, you are potentially exposing the victim of whatever happened to further exposure that they don't want. Absolutely not.
Ridicule.
I think he's got to wear it as a GM. Wear it's the wrong word. He's got to face the bullet storm as the GM. Mm-hmm. And I think he handled it very, very well.
He did. And, another thing that was brought up in his availability that I think is really important to keep in perspective of everything is that it was either Ben Pope or Joe Brand. I can't remember who asked the question, but along the lines of, following the attempts to kind of change the culture and put things in place to where anyone within the organization, be it a player, a coach, an employee, whatever, would feel comfortable enough to come forward with any incidents like this, especially following everything that happened with the investigation into what happened to Kyle Beach and Brad Aldritz's sexual assaults against him. He was asked, like, is this kind of a good sign that, what you're doing and what you're implementing is actually working because this person felt comfortable enough to come forward? And Davidson, said pretty, succinctly, like, yes, like if there is a silver lining to the situation, it is that whatever happened and whoever came forward felt like they could do it and that something would be done about it. Because look, like, this is a player in Cory Perry that is very well noted in the NHL. As an NHL player, probably on the bubble of that Hall of Fame discussion.
Yeah.
And it's not a small thing to come forward and say, this incident happened with me and Cory Perry being involved. So, I as uncomfortable as it is of a situation to be in, there is that silver lining, I think, for Davidson and for the organization that, even though something did happen, they were able to come to a resolution with it.
Yeah.
And be able to do something about it and give the person, whoever was involved with it, some sort of conclusion.
Yeah, it means their system is working.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner and Kyle Davidson wanted to put in place when they all came into control of the organization and say, look, and this proves that it's not just lip service. And there's people I've been dealing with online all the time saying, like, the Hawks are sweeping this under the rug. No. Sweeping this under the rug is saying, all right,
sweeping this under the
keep
rug
it to yourself.
Is us finding out about this in 10 years.
Yes, or in 3 months or whatever it might be. And they say to Cory Perry, all right, hey, keep this on a down low. They talk to the employee like, hey, will you sign a non-disclosure agreement? Whatever, we'll make this go away. We'll pay you, compensate you. That's sweeping it under the rug. Hoping it never comes to rear its ugly head is sweeping it under the rug. They immediately took action. Yeah. He went from power play 1 to out of the lineup in the matter of hours.
And by tomorrow afternoon, out of an NHL job.
And probably for good.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a team is going to take a flyer on Cory Perry at age 38 after this incident.
Yeah. I can't imagine that a team would do that.
No. So, I don't know. I just for the future, if you see something online that seems too sensational to be real, chances are it's too sensational to be real.
Yeah.
Like, I was really disappointed by how many people took that rumor, and I'm not going to name it out loud. You know what it is. And ran with it and made jokes about it. I saw Greg Wyshynski, ESPN employed Greg Wyshynski, say, I hope Connor Bedard's got his notifications turned off. That's hilarious. That's really effing funny. I hope you got your clicks and your likes and your memes out of it.
Yeah, LOL.
Meanwhile, you have a family affected by some bullshit rumor running wild on the internet. Yep. It's ridiculous. And I don't know. The media literacy in this country is a freaking embarrassment. That people can't tell the difference between some dickhead's random Twitter account and an actual news story.
Yeah.
And an actual sourced, reliable, dependable report. So here's a screenshot from my buddy who works at TSN. What are you talking about? And people think that's real?
It's disappointing. It's honestly disappointing that something like that can get the legs that it did. But I mean, the internet is full of awfulness. So as depressing as it sounds, I'm not surprised that something like that caught fire and completely took over a false narrative around this whole situation. And it we've talked about it before. Like, it is still open season for 31 other fan bases to shit on the Blackhawks.
Yep.
So given the opportunity, a random name XYB319151NY221 Twitter account says something ridiculous, and people think it's LOLs and funny, and it gets shared everywhere. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand first off, what's funny about that rumor being humorous? I don't get it. Secondly, it's just the lack of consequence spreading of everything. I don't know how and why we got to a point where stuff like that can just take legs. It's really disappointing, and I would love to say that defamation lawsuits and all that stuff could be brought against these people, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can do that.
I don't think their Hawks are going to waste their time on that.
No,
they certainly could, and the Bedard family certainly could.
Yeah,
and maybe they will.
It's just a really sad. It's just a really sad situation, and I think actually, Ryan, this is a good point. So small towns have done this sort of gossip for ages, and now people spread that sort of thing on social media, which is pathetic. And you know what? If social media, Twitter specifically, is not just that, it's every small town, every small group of people all brought together in one big giant open room.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
And it's where every voice is equal.
Yeah.
There's no more, and like with the elimination of like true verifications where journalists or newsmakers or influencers or whatever, you could see this is their actual account. It's coming from it's actual information from a source has been verified. Mm-hmm. Now that anyone can just buy a verification, and if you did that, cool on you, whatever. You want to see what you want to see, whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But it's the wild freaking West more than it's ever been now.
Right.
And how many, just innocently, how many Connor Bedard Twitter accounts happened this year?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, Connor Bedard's on Twitter. Nope, that's not Connor Bedard.
No, it's not him.
But there's no way to prove that it's Connor Bedard or not. It's just like, it's nuts. So I'm just imploring you, if you're listening to this show, to please
take an extra second.
Read it again. Yeah. Consider the source. Take a deep breath. And I'll challenge you to, like, when your friends and family start sending you this crap, shoot it down immediately. Don't engage in it. Don't play around with it.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And now that kid, 18 years old, with the weight of the world on his shoulders already, every time he steps on an opposing rink for the near future is going to have to hear about that.
Yeah.
Because of one jag on Twitter thought it would be funny to make something up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Today was definitely a day that the mute and block buttons were getting a old workout. So,
yeah.
But
anyway,
I mean, yeah, I would like to think that I don't want to say that I hope this is put to bed. With the Davidson presser being kind of the end all of it. But I would think this is all the information we'll ever get about it. And I think to those involved, I think that's maybe for the best of their interests and hopes. But I think being able to say, the person that was in the wrong in this situation is swiftly out of the organization and out of a job, feels like the best case scenario to come to a conclusion on this situation. So hopefully that's it, and there really needs to hopefully be nothing more out of this for the sake of those involved.
Yeah. All right, are you ready to move on to the game?
Sure.
Or should we move on to the trade first?
Hey, yeah, I was going to say, hey, remember there was a trade?
Yeah. Let's do the trade. We'll do the game with Greg.
We'll do a quick trade.
So the Hawks today, right as the game was starting, acquired Vancouver winger Anthony Beauvillier. Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful name. Very hockey-esque. He is 26 years old, former first-round pick of the New York Islanders back in 2015. He was 28th overall. This year he's got 8 points in 22 games for Vancouver, playing about 13 minutes a night, +8. I saw a little post-game quote from Luke Richardson, who describes him as, quote, a little spark plug out there.
Cool.
So another smallish forward who's going to bring some speed and some scoring ability. What I like about this for the Hawks is, you gave up virtually nothing to get it. And it gives you some lineup flexibility. This is a guy that you can kind of move up and down the lineup. He's good enough to hang on the top line if needed. He could probably go down to play your third or fourth line if he wanted to. A lot of flexibility, more scoring depth here. And I think, and I wrote about this when I wrote the story for ALLCITY.com, that at this point, without Perry and without Hall, it almost felt like negligent to not go get some kind of help for the offense. And this is this is a solid first step. I don't think he's not going to change their draft lottery status or anything like that, but he's definitely going to be a guy that can play in the top 6 and not look completely out of sorts in doing so.
Yeah, he can play in this top 6. I think is the
right
the difference there. But yeah, I mean, it's 26-year-old guy, 40 points last season in split time between Vancouver and the Islanders. Former first-round pick. He's a UFA at the end of this year, so you're literally getting him for just this season. And you gave up a pick that we had some confusion in the press box as we were looking up the information. I don't think it's a pick the Blackhawks own, the conditional fifth round.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really weird, but
I don't have enough confidence in my knowledge of this to get too into it, but it looks like it might actually be the Leafs who own this pick right now.
I have no idea. It was very confusing, but Cap Friendly said it was the Blackhawks 5th round pick at some point, but it's Vancouver's issue to deal with now. But yeah, I mean, it's a good guy to bring in, a proven NHLer, and as good as Joey Anderson has played in his short time being called up here. You kind of want to have a little bit more of an NHL roster.
Yeah.
So I think, bringing in Beauvillier for basically nothing, it's not a bad move. And I think it's a guy that helps insulate the lineup pretty well. And if he does anything of importance that you think, oh, maybe you give him a 1-year extension or something, that's gravy. If he rides out this year and that's all it is, fine. You gave up a conditional 5th round pick, whatever.
Well, and Taylor Hall is back next year.
Yeah,
he's got 1 year left on that deal, so hopefully that ACL heals in time for the season and he'll be 100%. So we'll see. It's look, I'm all for. I love transactions. I love new players. It's exciting. Something new to talk about. And, I think this makes a lot of sense, especially when you consider what was given, all those sort of things. It's kind of a no-brainer. So,
I mean, if you're not signing Phil Kessel, this is the next best thing.
I know. It just really feels like they're just trolling you at this point.
It breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
So it's a solid move, I would say. And I don't know, maybe there's more to come. We'll see. Greg's going to join us in a little bit. We're going to get out to him. But first, we want to tell you about our friends at CIRCA.
Yeah, CIRCA. They're a great sports book to place your sporting wagers on. They have Sportsbook strives, CIRCA Sportsbook strives to be at a -110 split, unlike other sports books, which may use -115 or 120. So you have the best tight money line splits and low hold models out there with CIRCA Sportsbook. They keep as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to other books around. They have high app limits and great transparency. CIRCA Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. So if you're winning with CIRCA, they are going to say, hey, keep winning with CIRCA. And if you're not winning with CIRCA, they're going to say, hey, keep betting with CIRCA. We encourage bettors to CIRCA encourages bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available and compare the lines from each sportsbook, and you will find that you are going to get the best ones on the CIRCA Sports app. And they have tremendous customer service. There are real people behind the CIRCA Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots.
Boo!
All aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main CIRCA Sportsbook at the CIRCA Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the CIRCA Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app and sign up today. Also be on the lookout for CIRCA events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know has a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That is 1-800-426-2537, or text GAMB, G-A-M-B, to 833-234, or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
And we also want to welcome Empire Today to the CHGO family. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have people that are trying to be like them, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, or speed.
Imposters.
Yeah. Their competition advertises low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Walked into my friend's house the other day. I said, these floors, where are they from? They said somewhere else. I go, I could tell they look like crap. They're not from Empire. I could tell these are not Empire floors. They're terrible.
Man,
Empire will not promise.
Throwing floor shade at your friends.
Stay out of my house, geez.
Yeah. Well, get better floors, jerks. We're not friends anymore. I have terminated the friendship. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in their home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Use their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. You just snap a picture and instantly see how the new floors will look in your room. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday. Flooring is all Empire Today does. They live and breathe flooring, and who doesn't? So you can be confident you're getting honest, upfront advice. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All CHGO listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO.
To put a cap on the discussion surrounding Cory Perry here,
Sure.
I think some quotes here from players are coming in that I think are important.
Okay.
So this is from Ben Pope. Nick Foligno calls the Cory Perry news, quote, stunning, says the Hawks organization will stand up for what they believe will create the best culture. Continued, Foligno says, it's a hard day. It doesn't make it any easier because we care about Cory a ton and we're going to wish him well. But the group in here has to galvanize around this and make sure we're holding ourselves to a high standard, and how serious the Chicago Blackhawks are about that and the culture they want to build here. We are lucky to be a part of it. I think it's important to note that, as Davidson said in his media availability, is that he addressed the team earlier this afternoon about the process of Cory Perry being dismissed from the team. But he did say that the team players did not have any details as to why Perry would be gone from the team. So keep that in mind as well. This coming from Mark Lazarus. Seth Jones on Cory Perry. Quote, he's a brother and we care about everyone in this room. We don't have any details of what happened, but I know the organization wants to keep a level of conduct here and a place where we hold each other to a standard. I guess that was broken. So that is coming from the players regarding Cory Perry. And again, it seems that the information given to the players was the same was that Perry is not going to be around, and it's an organizational matter.
Again, protecting the person on the other side of the situation, which is the appropriate way to handle it. Again, any amount of detail given to the players, given to the media, given to whoever is risks exposing the other person on the other side of this. I think they've handled it quite correctly. And yeah, like, look, these guys are together all the time, and they're going to talk about, they do care about him. Like, I have had friends in my life that have done horrible things that are unforgivable, and do I still care about them? Yes. Right? Like, you don't just stop caring about someone you care about because they effed up. And I can predict a lot of people will come down on Seth Jones and Nick Foligno for saying, we care about him, he's our brother. These guys are really tightly knit. And they're a team, and that's been pounded into their head. Like, think about all the team building stuff they've done together, all those sort of things. It is the way hockey culture works, for better or worse. But I don't think saying we care about him says what he did is okay.
Right.
And no one there is saying that, so I hope they are not treated as if that's what they're saying, because it's very clearly not.
Yeah, I mean, as both of those guys say in these quotes here, you know, there is a standard that the Blackhawks are setting, and it wasn't met in this situation. So they are acknowledging that, you know, the whatever happened broke that standard. Well, and look, so that's the consequence of it.
And that's those guys now. They see, like, man, if they'll do that with Cory Perry, I'm not safe from that either. Like, we really got to watch our, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's really anyone to worry about in that room, but, like, it does send a message of there is no different set of rules for different guys here, right? Like, Cory Perry was the big free agent signing. He was wore a letter on his sweater. He was featured in he was just in the Every Shift video.
Yeah.
Like, everything about Cory Perry has been publicized and praised this year. We saw Hawks fans coming around to the idea of Cory Perry being a Blackhawk, partly because of the way the Hawks were putting him out. And we joked about it all the time, the continued humanization of Cory Perry, right? Like, for them to just be like, what happened? Oh, hell no, gone.
Right.
That says a lot to me on a lot of levels. It shows they're serious about it, and it shows everybody in that locker room that no one is above this.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, one of the things that I think, like, when you look back on the Kyle Beach thing, is maybe those men in that room, Quenneville, Bowman, McDonough, McIsaac, all knew what the right thing to do was, but instead they said, you know what? Right now, hockey's more important. We're going to prioritize the hockey over the right thing to do. And then, whatever happens in the offseason will happen, and we'll just assume it's taken care of. Right? With this, Kyle Davidson took the situation, put hockey aside, and did the right thing.
Yep.
So be it.
Yep.
There's one thing I do wonder. Should Danny Wirtz have said something?
Yeah. I mean, I will say that I was a little surprised that it was just Kyle talking to the media today. I don't know why. Could have been his own decision to say, you know what, I'm gonna face this. But I think, you know, it would have been an extra step to have seen a more organizational front today. But I think, given the situation, Kyle handled it really well. But yeah, I mean, I think if you would have had the additional presence of Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner at the press conference, it probably carries a little bit more weight. But I don't know why they weren't there.
Jamie Faulkner, she is the president of business operations. Yes, she is a forward-facing front office member here, but she is pretty hands off with the hockey stuff.
Sure.
Maybe this is Danny Wirtz saying, "You're the hockey guy. I am not going to meddle in the hockey stuff. If you think this is the right move to make, you should make it." But I think hearing Danny Wirtz say this decision was brought to us by Kyle Davidson, we gave him full authority to make whatever move he thought was correct, and he made it. We stand by it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have a lot of impact.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about like what leaks into what to see if Jamie Faulkner should have been there or not. I think
sure. No, that's
even if
true.
they just
That's
stood
true.
beside Kyle Davidson, questions would have come for them.
Mm.
But it would show a united front. I don't know. I'm glad I don't work in PR. I have no idea how to do it. Like it's all very complicated, but I would like to hear from at least Danny Wirtz sooner or later on this. Maybe after a couple days when things sort of settle down, he can say, "Hey, I'd like to talk." Maybe he does something on a pregame show. Maybe he puts out a statement or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think I like how this organization is being run right now. I would like to see Danny out in front of some of the more negative things that have come up, though. Like going back last year to the Pride Night thing, to this. As the owner, you can't only be out there when things are good. You've got to be out there and face it when things are bad. And I think when you go out and if he was to go out and speak and back up Davidson or however he wants to do it, it would give a lot of people more faith in the organization too. I don't think there's a downside to that. No,
and I think we have the general understanding that, you know, Danny Wirtz is trying to be, you know, moving the organization forward in a better environment since, you know, everything that happened a couple of years ago, and being out front and being being present at the press conference today. Yeah, I there's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad about doing that. But yeah, I think like you said, like it could have been a decision to say Kyle can handle this because it's, you know, it's the hockey side of things. I'm not sure, but yeah. I think you're correct in saying that there's no wrong in being there. But yeah, maybe something in the next couple of days. You know, there's an actual Danny Wirtz availability or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know, but
Greg is standing by. I'm going to bring him by in a second, but I want to address Daniel in the chat here who says, "I wish Chicago journalists would dig a bit on this in the Alan Williams story." I don't cover the Bears, so I'm not going to talk about Alan Williams, but we've addressed this, and if it's not clear, I'll ask you to rewind it or play it afterwards. The reason the digging is not being done is because we don't want to expose a victim. Yeah. We don't want someone's name to get out there. It's the reason the Hawks are not offering the information. There's legal ramifications, and there is a victim here that is not a public figure.
Right.
It is very simple to understand. Your desire to get the dirt does not trump the desire to protect the innocent. Mm-hmm. Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good.
All right, Greg.
We're good.
Let's bring Greg in. Sorry, the little chimey thing didn't go off.
Yeah, the chime didn't go
off.
I didn't know
Greg
was there. Sorry. Sorry about that. You need to,
he is live at the United
Center.
You need to
announce your presence with authority.
Move to your left a little bit there, Kyle Davidson.
I got it. All right. Can we talk about a hockey game? They played
Yes,
one.
we have not talked about the hockey game yet.
Yes.
What happened?
We saved it just for you.
It's been one hell of a long fucking day. But, hey, it ended with a win, and that's fun. Yeah, we got to talk to, you're not going to believe this, Nick Foligno after the game, but he had a lot of good things to say. He was very proud of how the guys responded. You know, this has been a long week for them too, the guys in that room, to having one of the guys that was brought here to be a veteran leader and for everything we've seen was exactly that on the ice, all of a sudden is gone, and they still don't know all the reasons why. So he was proud. Nick Foligno said he was proud of them. Luke Richardson said he was proud of the guys for being professionals. He said he could hear them Right before going out for warm-ups, yelling and shouting in the locker room. He said Nick Foligno probably had a lot to do with that, get him up and going. And he said it would have been very easy for this group to lose focus, especially after coughing up that 2-goal lead. But they came out and they fought through it. And, Petr Mrazek was fantastic tonight. Great job from him, especially when you consider we haven't seen him in net since that disaster in Columbus, his worst game as a Blackhawk, probably. Yeah. It's been almost a week since he's played. He was great tonight. They don't win this game without him. But a simplified effort. You saw more of what Luke's been preaching for the last few weeks about just take the simple play. Jason Dickinson, my God, how, if you had a vote to give out an MVP on this team, it's Jason Dickinson getting my vote right now. I mean, he has been so damn good. Joey Anderson, again, just playing his ass off, making easy but tough plays, going to tough areas of the ice, but then making the correct simple play. Mackenzie Entwistle gets back in the lineup, scores a big goal. We just saw what Luke Richardson's been wanting to see. They got outplayed for big stretches of this game. They were outshot a ton. The Connor Bedard line was pretty much a non-factor, hemmed in their own end for much of the night, but you won. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. That's what this team does. I know, this isn't a season about winning. It's still a rebuild season, and we're still, high draft pick is the expectation. But you have to feel good for this group of guys. They've been through a shitty week too, and for them to take 2 out of 3 on this homestand and get a win tonight. You feel good for them. They earned it. They deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, and look, any Hawks win is probably going to look like this, right? Where maybe they're a little bit getting outplayed early, and then they get ahead, and in the third period, they're just holding on for dear life. That's how most Hawks wins are going to look this year, and that was certainly the case in this one. But you're right, to kill that 5-on-3 and emphatically kill that 5-on-3, there were not a ton of super dangerous chances from Seattle on that 5-on-3. And, this is what we talk about. Yeah, this is what you talk about, with the leadership Foligno brings to this young team and, what the veteran guys that here are. We haven't mentioned him yet. I've been on Tyler Johnson's ass for the last week or so. Yeah. Great game tonight. Yeah. He was all over the place. He was engaged. He was doing everything, playing in the 200-foot game. You saw Boris Katchouk step up into the top line when Nick Foligno was off for a while. You've got guys stepping up. Mackenzie Entwistle comes off the bench and plays his ass off, gets a star of the game. You've got these guys, they're playing hard. And, that's the thing. We'll get fired up when the effort's not there. And too often this year, the effort's not been there. But over the last little bit, you're starting to see the efforts be a little more consistent and the messages getting through early on in this game. The first period especially, the shoot the damn puck memo from Luke Richardson got through. Seth Jones had 3 shots on goal within the first, 10 minutes of the game or something like that. They were just peppering Grubauer with pucks, and lo and behold, you're up 2-0 before you can blink. Hopefully they're getting the message here, because they're getting results when they do what they're being coached to do. They're getting the results.
Yeah, I mean, the first goal, the Katchouk goal, it started because Bedard was out there at the end of a shift, and he saw he was outnumbered, so he just made a simple play. He was by the side of the net, but he put it on net, and Grubauer couldn't handle a rebound. It got cycled around. It went to Seth Jones, shot from the point, rebound off the pad. There's Katchouk to put it home. Simple hockey. This is what this team has to play if it wants to win games. This team cannot get in shoot, they can't try and outskill most teams on most nights, because they can't, and they won't. They have to just take what's given to them and cash in on your chances. That's exactly what they did tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty refreshing to see the guys rewarded who were playing that simple style, and who were doing the things that Luke Richardson has preached about this season, getting rewarded for doing exactly that. Boris Katchouk in the right spot for a rebound. off of a shot from Seth Jones that had traffic in front from Ryan Donato. Like, perfect, wonderful. That's exactly what you want to see in those kinds of situations. On the Entwistle goal, you have Joey Anderson making a tough play behind the net, bringing the puck to the front of the net in just kind of like a power move. And then, sure, he doesn't score, but Mackenzie Entwistle comes from the corner after a board battle, goes right to the front of the net, and he's wide open, uncovered, wide open net for the rebound, bang it in. Like, that's what you have to do. The simplicity of playing north-south, playing in areas that it takes a commitment to go and play in those areas, and the simplicity of, if you want to score goals in the NHL, what's the best way to do that? Go directly to the goal and just and either take the puck there or be there with your stick on the ice and be ready for a rebound or a deflection or something. Like, it's a very simple, straightforward game at times, and this team is not yet talented enough to get away with the tic-tac-toe overpassing, let's sauce it across the ice for a pretty goal. They don't have that talent level. Their talent level right now is beef and potatoes. Like, play beef and potatoes hockey. Go straight to the net and get something that isn't pretty, but it counts just the same.
We were watching, Greg, you were not up there. You were writing, but we were there so early after Kyle Davidson spoke. There were like a little kids game was happening.
Yeah.
During, while we were right after the
in the 4 hours before the game started.
I was laughing at myself because they're shooting the puck and going to the net. It's so damn simple. I'm like, it's right there. It's in 1/8 speed, but it's right there for you. And yeah, that goalie is 2.5 feet tall, but damn it, they're going to the net. They're getting results. It is such a simple game, and it's so frustrating. Really that first period was so refreshing because it just shows you that they can hang. Like, it's Nick Foligno, and I think that's why we see him so frustrated. Is like, early this year was like, this team's better than people think. We're more talented than people think. Now, that team had a healthy Taylor Hall and Cory Perry on it, and so it's a little bit different. But at the same time, like, he's not just saying that. Nick Foligno's not just going to go in there and say stuff and tell the team they're better than they are.
Yeah, it's not empty words just to pump tires.
Right. Like, they are better than they've been playing, and that's why I think a lot of y'all have seen, like, the three of us so frustrated after these losses because it's like, what is this? We all know they're better than this.
Yeah.
And this game, despite the third period where, you're just getting blitzed because they're trying to get back in the game, it was a solid performance. And I hope they can take this with all the stuff that was hanging over this game. And to steal a line from our buddies DJ and Pete, galvanize.
Actually use that word in the locker room tonight. I shared that with Pete and DJ. He actually said, it's the type of win that can galvanize a team or galvanize the message. I don't remember exactly how he used it, but he used it, and I kind of chuckled. But Luke also had high praise, obviously for the bottom six guys. He had high praise for Seth Jones and Alex Vlasic as well, saying that they skated well and were shooting the puck. That's what he wants to see out of them. I'm seeing a lot of comments about Isaac Phillips, who had another solid game. I mean, when you look back and they're on that 5-on-3, down 2 men, protecting a 1-goal lead. It's Reese Johnson and Isaac Phillips on the ice. I mean, you got to give Luke Richardson a ton of credit that he's saying, screw it, I'm going to trust these young guys. I'm going to trust these guys that we're trying to figure out if they're part of the future or not. Put them out there. Unfortunately, I'm as big of Isaac Phillips fan as you'll find. I've been the kid's impressed me since he got here in the COVID season. He was asked about his play, Luke Richardson was, and with Tenorti on his way back, it certainly sounds like Phillips is going to be heading back to Rockford. Richardson said, if it's a situation where Isaac is going to have to come out of the lineup, every other night, every second night, it probably, like Alex Vlasic, it's going to be better for him to be playing every night in Rockford as opposed to 1 out of 3 here. I can agree with that assessment, but if he's one of your best 6 defensemen here, why not just play him every night here? And right now he's top 5 defenseman. So we'll see how that goes.
He wouldn't be my choice to pluck out of the lineup.
No.
Yeah. I think Wyatt Kaiser should be looking over his shoulder, and the only thing is, and I think, Greg, you made this point the other day at the game, Tinordi and Phillips are kind of samey. They
Yes,
bring
but
kind of
no.
this. Yeah, I mean, look.
They are.
If
But what's
I'm
wrong
Kyle
with having-
Davidson, and thank God I'm not. I am definitely. I'm keeping Phillips here, and he's playing.
Tinordi and Phillips are both bigger physical guys, but Phillips can skate the puck too, and he could chip in offensively too. I mean, he was playing on the power play in Rockford. So I think if you give him a couple games with Tinordi, Phillips doesn't have to be the stay-at-home physical guy. He could then show off the other assets of his game and maybe be the more of the puck bringer up and join the rush kind of guy, which is an aspect to his game that he really hasn't shown here at the NHL level. So maybe you give him a couple games with Tinordi, you let Tinordi be the big bruiser down low, and you let Phillips maybe, spread his wings a little bit and see what he could do in that type of role here at the NHL level.
I think you look at the Dickinson goal and the shift that Phillips had in the offensive zone to set that goal up, keep plays alive, move the puck, and then eventually, get it to Dickinson, and he fired a ripper. I trust Isaac Phillips to have that offensive ability more than I would a guy like Jared Tinordi.
And the ability to recover. He's
Yeah.
a faster skater.
Yeah.
He's got a,
Yeah, so I mean, to Greg's point, yes, you don't want to. Sure, you don't want to say Phillips would be benefited by playing in the AHL rather than being in the NHL. But if it's 1 out of every 3 games for 13 minutes in the NHL rather than every night for 20 minutes in the AHL, for a guy who's still very young in his career and in his develop as a defenseman, that path is more beneficial. So as much as I feel like it is a lot of the let's see what the kids can do mentality, we're maybe not exactly at that same point with every young player. And if it means Phillips will take a little bit of extra time playing in Rockford before he is able to get up to the NHL level full time, in place of Jared Tinordi being able to be available or Nikita Zaitsev sticking around, which both of those guys are on expiring deals. If it's just like, hey, Isaac, hang out for the next couple of months, hang with us, we believe in you.
yeah.
Next year will be a big opportunity. Maybe that's the messaging.
I hope so. He's certainly earned the opportunity to stay. We should mention Kevin Korchinski, who did not have his finest game today. And look, these are the things you knew you were going to get when you call up a 19-year-old defenseman that is, at this point in his career, primarily offense.
Yeah.
But that shorthanded goal scored by the very handsome Alex Wenberg. Sorry, I got to say that. He is my new Victor Stahlberg. That guy is dreamy. The goddamn slingshot power play, which I wrote about for today's Hawks Hit. There's a teaser for you. Drop passes it off a Kraken player's shin pad. Goes right into the Kraken zone. They take it the other way and score. Now some pitiful defense on the other end to defend that play, and Petr Mrazek went for a swim on that one. I don't know where he was going.
Well,
But that freaking slingshot and another two blind passes led to goals today from Korchinski.
The slingshot power play entry is going to
Yeah, and they're off tomorrow, so we can't ask about it.
They're off tomorrow?
Yep, no practice tomorrow.
Interesting.
Luke's giving the guys a day off tomorrow. They says they earned it. And
That's true.
I think everybody on the beat could use a day off tomorrow.
That's
too.
true.
No doubt.
No, that's true.
Not just for the players. I appreciate the day off.
I just need someone, and the answer can't be, well, if you do it the right way, it works. Well, yeah, no shit. If you do everything the right way, it works,
But
right?
it didn't work when they had more skill. When Kane and DeBrincat were here, it didn't work.
Right. You don't have the people in place to run this system. And I just don't understand when you have a puck carrier like Kevin Korchinski or Seth Jones or anybody who's the primary puck carrier on the power play entry coming through the neutral zone with speed, and you get to the red line, and all of a sudden you're no longer looking forward, you're looking backwards while you're skating in towards your offensive zone, but you're looking backwards. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I've seen the Blackhawks on the power play carrying the puck into the neutral zone with a lot of speed, and I say to myself in the press box, and I think you guys might be able to hear me a few times, and I'm saying to myself, don't fucking pass it. And they pass it back, and it's either a deflected by the defender or it's a pass that goes all the way back to the goal line because your trailer is all the way back there, and then they carry it all the way back up the I don't make it make sense. I need to ask Luke Richardson to the side, like, I'm going to bring in a whiteboard and a marker to the next practice. I'm just going to be like, Luke, can you take 5 minutes and talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old and explain the power play entry strategy?
I would love to, because I'd love to be proven wrong. But here's a
like,
frustrating
I need
thing
it to
about
make
too.
sense to me.
Like, make it the slingshot pass an option. Don't make it the default.
Right.
If you're skating up with speed, you've got an entry, take the freaking entry.
Go.
Don't just go full speed with a full speed ahead while the Kraken are trying to get to the blue line to defend you, and you go, I'm just going to stop and drop. Why? Just keep going.
I don't get it.
Just keep going. I feel like if the Hawks would allow it, that Luke would be down to do something like that, because nothing gets that guy going like talking hockey.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe we could ask Bedard about it.
Yeah.
Because you talk to Bedard about hockey and he'll talk. Say,
sure.
why does the slingshot power play work in your mind?
Right. And other teams use it, but other teams I think the teams that use it and have success, because there are people that pull their hair out over it with other teams and other fan bases.
Yes.
So it's not just a Blackhawks thing.
Just Google slingshot power play and you'll see like slingshot power play, killing the Caps, killing the Red Wings, killing the Flyers, killing the Kraken. Like, it's just, everyone hates it. And most of the time, the result of these entry on the slingshot power play, when it does work, is that you have someone with speed getting through the zone, and then they break to the boards and chip the puck into the corner. Couldn't you just do that anyways? Yes.
If Korchinski on the play that he had the turnover that led to the shorthanded goal, if he had just flipped the puck from the red line into the zone, into the corner, and everyone else just went into chase and go in for a board battle, isn't that better and pretty much the same thing you're going to accomplish anyway? Isn't that better than passing it backwards where there's a Seattle player or two defenders saying, hey, we know they're going to drop the pass back to us, so let's just play behind them.
You would think.
And have our sticks ready. I don't know.
Well, we saw Korchinski was taken off the top power play unit after that play. So obviously Luke Richardson was like, yep, that's enough of that. We're going to put Seth Jones out there, who, better at keeping the puck in. And overall, to circle back on Korchinski, he's had a rough couple of games. The St. Louis game, there was a goal where he was going to go retrieve the puck behind the net, looked up to make a pass, and while he did that, the puck was taken away from him and then deposited in the net. He's had some struggles, but nothing that's not unexpected. He is every bit a teenager playing a very hard position for the first time in the world's greatest hockey league. We weren't, if anybody thought we were going to see Norris quality defense 82 games a year, pass me what you're smoking, because it just wasn't going to happen. So these are expected normal struggles for a rookie defenseman, even more so a teenage rookie defenseman who has never played any kind of professional hockey before this year. So these are teachable moments, and all I say when I see plays like that Korchinski make, just don't repeatedly make those same plays. Learn from them, and then the next time you're behind the net, be aware that there might be a guy behind you, and get rid of the puck quicker. Make that decision a beat quicker. When when you've got momentum going forward on the power play, maybe don't go backwards. Maybe just take it into the zone. You're there because of your skating and your shooting ability. Freaking use it. So mistakes happen. Cale McCarr makes mistakes, but he doesn't make the same mistake very often. So that's the difference between the elite and the guys who are learning. So I'm not going to ride Kevin Kurchinski hard on making rookie mistakes as a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah, and no one is saying to send him back to junior. There's no point in that. What's the point of him going to stiff arm a bunch of children on his way to 150 points? Like, what's he going to learn? I'd rather have him failing in these games that ultimately don't really matter. They're not going to get to the playoffs this year. They're not going to fight for a Stanley Cup. Yeah. Make the mistakes now. When it's time to win, they'll be out of your system, and we'll be good to go.
It took Duncan Keith multiple seasons to look like he belonged here, and that turned out pretty well.
And not to be clear, you just said it correctly. Not to look like Duncan Keith, to look like he belonged in the NHL. Took a couple years. So. Yeah.
And 2 full seasons in the AHL, something Kevin Korchinski doesn't have the luxury of. So, it's normal struggles for a young kid, and it's fine. It's okay, the power play needs some work. It seems like we say that every year, no matter who's here.
Years.
Broken record. I mean, there were Stanley Cup years where we were like, how come this power play sucks? Look at all these amazing players we have and we still can't score a goal. There's a lot of pressure to score when you should. That's a work in progress, but you just got to keep at it. Here's an idea. Draw more penalties, you get more shots at it, and you'll get better at it.
Sure.
There you go. Makes sense to me.
It's a simple game sometimes.
That's right. All right, anything you want to add before we spring you? It's been a long day for you. You've been at the United Center since 6 a.m.
Basically.
It feels like I've been here for 4 days straight. Long day, but you know what? These are the types of days that are exhausting. They're can be frustrating at times when you have to spend all day looking at your phone, getting notifications from complete shitty human beings that are just idiots and want to perpetuate pure garbage because they think they're funny and they're going to get clicks. It's stressful, when you're dealing with a million things happening. Today we had a legendary player signed to a rival. Then we had, the Cory Perry news come out, then the press conference. Oh, and then there's a trade all in the span of a couple of hours.
It's a trade during warm-ups.
And then there's a game to cover. It's an exhausting day, but these are the types of days that are so rewarding and confirm that, like, this is all I want to do. Like, yeah, I'm going to go home and pass out before I even get to the bedroom, but I'll have a smile on my face because this was a rewarding day.
Well, Greg, if you do pass out before the bedroom, it'd be good if you had a helmet, but you're not going to have it today, buddy.
It's all right.
Yep. Once again, the fix is in.
Yeah.
Mario has a line to the Blackhawks, and whoever he chooses seems to win every night.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the winner of Who's Your Hawk tonight with Seth Jones.
First to 10 wins.
Just having a monstrous game. Recapping Seth Jones's line for those that missed it. It's comical. An assist, 23-43 of ice time, 5 shots, 8 shot attempts, 6 block shots, and a takeaway. Yikes.
He was playing with a purpose tonight. I loved it.
Yeah, but that contract, man. Ugh.
Yeah, well.
They should really fire the guy that gave him that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they should.
He shouldn't
should
be
never
allowed
let
to
him
make
back
decisions.
in hockey.
Yeah.
Should never let that guy back in hockey. Oh, wait, yeah. So, yeah. All right, boys. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And
right,
we will have a fun day tomorrow where we will try to talk a little about the Blackhawks as possible.
Oh, I'm going to yell at DJ and Pete about the Corey Crawford slander.
Yeah.
That went on.
As I told them in our
Podcast,
little chat, I called them out. And our guy Pete said mid, and my reply was, well, he was slightly less mid than Tuukka Rask in 2013, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, you mentioned Tuukka Rask, you got to get rags out for those guys. Oh, my God, it's the best. He lost that game, for the record, and that series.
He, last time I checked, he doesn't have any championship rings, and Corey Crawford's got 2 of them.
Interesting. All right, buddy. Have a good night. Drive safe. Do not pass out before you hit the sheets.
Yeah, wait till you're home.
I'll get home, but once I get through that door, I'm not making any guarantees how far I make it into the house.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy. See ya.
All right, see you tomorrow.
That is Greg Boysen from the United Center. Follow him on Twitter at Greg Boysen.
Here's a fun stat.
Yeah.
Cumulatively, from the 2007-2008 season to the 2022-23 season, the Blackhawks have the 23rd ranked power play in the NHL.
Give me those years again.
2007-2008 to
Yeah.
2022-2023. Cumulatively, over that span of time, they are 23rd in the league on the power play.
Well,
Number 1, Washington Capitals.
gee, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Do they have someone who's really good at the power play?
Yeah, someone who scores a lot of goals.
Interesting. Who
Yeah.
knew? I wonder if he'll be good someday.
Maybe.
Anyway, we got to take another break. We got a ton still to do. We got to give you 4-star of the game. We got to hit Connor's Corner. What else we got to do? Anything else? We got a bunch of super chats.
Super
Chat
chats.
4-star.
4-star? Damn.
4-star.
All right, we got a lot. We're going to get to your super chats next. Thanks for your patience on that. But we want to remind you, boy, on a night like tonight, I could really use a cold Goose Island, and I'm going to have one as soon as the show is over.
Sure.
They are Chicago's beer since 1988 with the delicious Oktoberfest, the Beer Hug family, the 312 Wheat Ale, the Full Pocket Pills. That's what the Brewers are drinking, not the Milwaukee Brewers. They're drinking their own tears. But the Brewers of Goose Island are drinking the Full Pocket Pills. My favorite is always the Green Line, and, of course, the 312 is the go-to. And you can grab yourself that didn't sound right.
Yeah, finish
you can
that
grab
sentence.
yourself an ultra fresh brewery exclusive beer. Stick with the copy, Jay. At Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne and Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. That is Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
And I'm going to wait for Steven to come back.
Oh, I thought you were going to stone cold me a beer on the set.
I could if you really want me to.
I'm too old for that shit.
All right.
I'm going to wait because it says here in the copy, production must display lower third throughout this next spot.
I'm ready for it now.
All right. Hey, are you in the market for a new vehicle?
Wait, hold on. The lower third's not up yet.
Oh, no. If you are,
There we go.
then we have some amazing news for you. We here at CHGO are on the same team as Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fox Lake. At Ray CDJR, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and find unforgettable savings. And right now, during the Black Friday sales event at Ray CDJR in Fox Lake, there is 0% financing, and that is available on select new models all month long. That's right, it is still November. So for the month of November, it is the Ray CDJR Black Friday sales event. But that's not all. Just for listening, you can get a free oil change when you mention CHGO. I don't know why I'm getting the giggles. You can get a free oil change when you mention CHGO at the service center or mention CHGO when you book online at raycdjr/service. And I will say that free oil change is a wonderful value. I got my oil changed yesterday over at Ray. They're a short drive away from me up in the North Woods, up in Fox Lake up there. And I took advantage of that free oil change. I said, hey, I've heard of CHGO, and I would like my oil change, please. And Ray himself said, no problem. So if you are in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, because they are the only team that we here at CHGO recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963 and giving CHGO listeners free oil changes since now.
That's a great deal.
It's a free. Free is always a good deal.
Yes. It's my favorite price. Free 99.
Yes.
All right, let's fire out some of these super chats that were not free. We appreciate them. Windy City Hockey with $5 says, so what number does Beauvillier wear? 72 is used by Vlasic. 18 is retired. You can't do 27. You can't do 81.
Anthony Beauvillier.
I'm going to go like something weird like 82.
What are his numbers in junior? What did he wear?
The only NHL numbers he's worn are 72 and 18. I
Okay.
looked.
What about his junior numbers?
Where do you find junior numbers? What resource is that?
Oh, I got my sources.
All right.
You do some of these super chats.
All right. Lebowski 5 with a $5 super chat says Dickinson is really turning a corner. Can he be a part of the team when they're ready to contend? And maybe that elusive Patrick Sharp type acquisition.
Wait,
I'm here for it because what I like about him, much like Patrick Sharp, is he can play center or wing, power play, penalty kill, whatever you need Jason Dickinson to do, he can do it. Now, I don't think he's ever going to have the sort of offensive output that Patrick Sharp has, but that sort of lineup versatility that Patrick Sharp provided is hugely valuable to a team, no matter where you are in a rebuild. Jason Dickinson is an NHL player on 32 NHL teams.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, I think there's a spot for him down the road.
Yeah, I think he's one of these guys that, like, he's on an expiring deal. If he's playing really well, you listen to the offers that teams may or may not, may potentially make for a player like him as the trade deadline approaches. But also, if you believe in him and you believe what he's doing, you believe he can be part of that culture setting and that future. And look, like when we talk about like a lot of the good things that are happening in the bottom six for this team, a lot of them center around Jason Dickinson being involved.
Yeah.
So if you believe more in his value being here than in what he could potentially get you in a trade return, I think you invest in him, and I don't think that I don't think that would be a bad idea.
Yeah, it's time to start thinking about not just trading everybody.
Yeah, and we haven't really even thought too...
I mean, as an organization.
Yeah, and I don't think that the thought has been too much this year on okay, we're just getting people just to sell them off at the trade deadline. So, yeah, I think if there's interest in him sticking around on both sides, I don't have a problem with that.
$5 from Thomas says, kudos to Kyle Davidson. I think he handled this well. You could tell he was shaken with it, and yet he stood there and faced the media proud of him. Brandon Sikora with a $5 super chat says, great effort. Jason Dickinson and Joey Anderson are doing their job. Anderson should have been on the roster day one. Luke deserves a round of applause. And our buddy Young Dangle God, thinking about him today with Patrick Kane signing with the Red Wings, gives us $1 every day. Well, here's what he has to say. $10 super chat. Now that Kaner is officially a Red Wing, this is my final reach of desperation. Unfortunately, like all good things, this bit must come to an end. Just kidding. Resign Kaner summer 2024. There you go. By the way, if you missed our emergency podcast on the Patrick Kane signing, I'll find it for you since I know you're looking something up. Really interesting stat about players that have had the hip resurfacing surgery. Nicholas Backstrom played 47 games, had 22 points, and has taken basically a leave of absence, meaning he's going to retire. Carl Hagelin, 0 games, 0 points. Ryan Kessler, 0 games, 0 points. Ed Jovanovski, 37 games, 5 points. Yeah. Patrick Kane, if he comes out and is anywhere close to the Patrick Kane he was before, is going to really be the first NHL player to have this procedure and come out of it the other side with any semblance of his former career. Yeah. So we'll see. I think
it's a gamble.
It's a gamble, and I think everybody should be tempering their expectations on what sort of output Patrick Kane's going to have with Detroit this year. I'm interested to see it. Yeah. For me, when they're on TV and I'm home, they're going to be appointment television because I think they're kind of fun to watch anyway.
Yeah, they're just intriguing.
But I don't know. And I just, with all that in mind, I know a lot of people were upset when the Hawks let him go, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's a to be determined on what level of play Patrick Kane can bring. But I mean, if there's anyone I could see having that surgery and coming back and being pretty close to the player that they were, I would believe Patrick Kane could do that.
When he plays a different game than Kessler and Jovanovski and
right.
He's going to be on the perimeters doing his thing.
Yeah.
Do you have answers on numbers?
Yes. Anthony Beauvillier was captain of the Shawinigan Cataract. I think it's Cataracts. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it.
Cool logo. I know that.
It's yes. He wore 91. Currently available for the Blackhawks. So that could be a number that he wears
like
and
that number.
keeps it warm for Steven Stamkos.
Oh, there you go. I like that. I've always liked 91. Good number. Sergei Fedorov was a guy on a guy I loved on a team I hated.
Mm-hmm.
Good 91. Brad Richards for the Hawks was a 91.
Anthony Duclair.
Duclair was 91.
Drake
That's right.
Kajula.
Yeah.
I
I think that's it.
It's not a very populated number with the Blackhawks.
It's a good one though. I
yeah,
like it.
a lot of great players have worn 91 because they can't wear 19.
All right, Steven, what graphic do you have handy? What do you want to do first?
I got them all. You want to do 4-star?
Let's do 4-star of the game.
We talked about him a little bit.
4-star
Jason
winner.
Dickinson.
There he is.
How about it?
Large J. Richard. 1 goal, +2, 2 shots, 6 shot attempts. Congratulations to Jason Dickinson, who is quickly becoming a fan favorite in Chicago, and with good reason.
Yeah.
He's been awesome lately. Really, really good.
Yeah, he's been really good. And the shot today was just a beautiful shot. One-timer, bar down right past the ear hole of Philip Grubauer. Like, he had no chance at it. So it's just a wonderful shot. You love to see that.
No doubt. Good for him. Congratulations. All right, what do we got to do next?
Connor's
We got
Corner.
the amazing music here.
Oh, let's do it.
All right.
Just right in the end of our day.
Connor Bedard, no points in this one. He was a -1, 15:57 of ice time, had 1 shot on goal, 1 more shot attempt. Credit with 3 takeaways,
Nice.
1-2, and lost 4 faceoffs. Not his best day. I think there were some moments that won't show up on a score sheet. Made a couple nice passes, a couple nice setups that you're not going to get credit for, where he had an opportunity to shoot, made a pass, but not necessarily in a bad way. I don't think he was awful in this game by any means, but one of the more forgettable games for Connor Bedard this season.
He is not above learning lessons, and just as Korchinski and the rest of the young guys still have a good amount of things to figure out at the NHL level. Bedard is also in that group as well, even though he has the stature of pretty much being the best player on this team. He's definitely still going to be learning a lot, and it's games like this that you kind of say, okay, let's go back and look at it. Let's see where we could have improved and move on from there.
And I'm confident he will. And Lebowski, 5 with a point. Connor's ice time went down. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to hold on to a lead late. You had a 5-on-3 during that third period, so they were shorthanded a lot in that game too. Like they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 penalties.
Yeah.
So they were shorthanded often in this one.
Also, the way that this team has been playing recently, when you're protecting a lead late, who are you throwing out there? Bedard and Kurashev and Reichel, or Dickinson and Foligno,
Yeah, of course.
and those guys.
Yeah.
Like that's who you're trusting more.
Yep.
Right
That's
now,
for
at
sure.
least.
But hey, he's going to be okay. He'll have his
be
moments.
fine.
Don't worry about that.
That'll be fine.
Still leading the rookie scorers in scoring, so no worries there. All right, we are done.
Yes, we did do it.
We did it? All right, awesome. Boy, this has been a really long day. I'm really looking forward to hopefully tomorrow, like kicking the feet up a little bit, having some fun with DJ and Pete, and then doing our own little thing in the second half of the show.
No practice is nice.
Yeah.
That'll be nice to not have to rush out the door in the morning to get here for me.
Definitely. Hey, make sure you smash that like button for us on the way out. And we want to make sure we thank everybody for helping out with the Black Friday sale and the Cyber Monday. CHGO, we are the winners of ALLCITY, if I'm correct.
No.
You are not correct.
We're not? Who won?
Not even
DNVR.
close. DNVR
beat us down.
chat kicked us.
Whatever. They have more resources. It's rigged.
It's different. Out of the non-flagship network locations, we were number 1. So
For the record, DNVR has like 47 shows. They've got like a Colorado Buffaloes, a Colorado State show. They've got way more merch than we have to sell.
Sure.
And we have the White Sox, which just drives us all down.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it was awesome to see the orders coming in for CHGO merch through the Black Friday sale. Yeah, really cool, and just another reminder of like the community that we're building here with CHGO across the Chicago sports landscape, and I promise you, one of these days, one of our teams will be successful and not dysfunctional, and it'll be a wonderful time.
We had September of 2023.
It was a fond month,
Never
wasn't
forget.
it? It was great. I think we have to take that banner down, though, after this week.
Yeah, I think you're right. One more thing I want to mention, too, and I think this is a good reminder for all of us. Like, I have to tell myself this on days like today and, like, weeks like this, that when you're on social media and people are getting you down and they're making you feel like shit and you really hate society, keep in mind that the vast majority of people are good and normal and understand the reality of things and how things should be and the right way to do things and the right way to treat people. It's just the loudmouth idiots that like to speak the most and like to get the attention shined on themselves whenever they're opportunists when bad things happen. So if you're ever feeling like it's weighing you down and you really just want to put your head through a wall, like I know you did today, Mario, I know I did, I know Greg did, just take the deep breath and remember that most people are good, most people mean well, and don't let the bastards get you down. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, like, it is totally okay to log off, check out, because in all honesty, our human brains were not built to know the information and opinions of millions of people all at one time. We were basically built for what I've seen it online a bunch of times, but our human brains were built to eat berries in a cave with the 10 to 12 closest people around us.
Pass.
So, social media is an overload.
Yeah.
By nature. So definitely know that you're not the only person who feels overwhelmed at times by the nature of social media, and that it is totally cool to just log off, put your phone away, put your computer away, and say hello to your friends or family, or pet your dog, or play with your cat, or whatever.
As Greg says, go smell a flower.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, not right now. All the flowers are dead in Chicago because
That's
it's bitterly cold. But smell the snow.
All right. Well, we're back in just a few hours. It feels like.
Yeah, about 15.
Yeah. Tomorrow, 2:30, we're gonna start the show with Pete Blackburn and DJ Bean from the What Chaos podcast. Give them a follow, by the way, on social media. And
we didn't even get
YouTube.
to talk about their interview today with Scott Darling.
Scott Darling today.
I mean, the ladder of weirdness in hockey today, there was just a lot, and it was all seemingly connected to the Blackhawks. So we'll get to more of that tomorrow.
Definitely, and we will defend the good name of one Corey Crawford.
Yes.
Tomorrow, 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.